Good afternoon, dear beloveds. This is White Wolf. I'm going to start off by enacting protocols. Call upon the light, fire dragon, earth and water dragon, earth, fire dragon, Quine, Sphinx dragon, golden horse dragon, Ezekiel, my two black dragons, black dragon from Saturn, Alpha dragon, Archangel Michael, Gabriel, Sandalphon, Raphael, Mother Mary, Saint Germain, the Galactic Federation of Light, the Intergalactic Council, grandfather, grandmother, and the tribal women are also in attendance. And so it is. Let's let the noise die down and let's have a chat. Let's have a sit down. Let's have a talk. Let's make a decision today to forgive ourselves and let ourselves off the hook, because a lot of the times we have a very unworthy complex as a human. We defeat ourselves. We tell ourselves we're not this tall, we can't get this job, we're not going to make it. All of these circumstances are reflecting to me that I can't do this. And we're a lot like a computer that hasn't had all of the installments in it. We haven't got the latest update yet, but what can we do with the update that we have? What can we do with the abilities that we possess? What can we do, even if it's just getting up out of bed and just getting up and then going back to bed? If that's what you can do, God bless you. And there was this post that MorningStar made, and I think it's very essential. You have to talk like you're blessed, you have to act like you're blessed, you have to walk in the blessing, and you have to protect the blessing. That's how the blessing gets activated within your state of being, within your willpower, within your grace, within the transformation that is going inside of you. But don't beat yourself up because you haven't got there. You will get that job. You will get past this setback. You will get past anything that is telling you that you can't do it. But don't give in to the false narratives. Don't give in to the self-defeat, the self-hatred, the self-judgment. You need to forgive yourself, because I think a lot of times in our journey we become stagnant is because we are unwilling to forgive ourselves and move on and make it a new day, make it a new way, make it a resurrection, make it a rebirth, make it a reincarnation, and you get another try. You're like a character in a video game, and no matter how many times you die, you are going to get a second chance. You're going to get a third chance. You're going to get a fourth chance. Your dreams are not over. Your dreams are not out of the question. You are not stagnant. You have not failed. You have not been forgotten. You are the warrior of the Most High God. You are Source in human form. And Source would not talk about itself that way. God would not talk about itself that way. And you should not talk about yourself that way. But I'm coming from my own direct experience. Is because I had an unworthy complex in my life. I was very negative towards myself. I wasn't tall enough. I didn't measure up, I felt like, in this incarnation, and people didn't get me. But the people that did get me, they loved me for who I was, for what I stood for. But even then, that wasn't the real me. That was the imposter self. But now I accepted a new configuration. I surrendered to my higher self. I surrendered into becoming the God that I am today, that I resemble today, the example of the healer, so that you can be healed, so that you can heal yourself, and then be another example for someone. But don't let life kick you around and let things steal your joy, steal your passion, steal your drive. And I want you guys to try this, to try to remain in the frequency that you desire, in the frequency that you want to be held in the standard, in the parameters that you want to be held in. And I'm going to share out to all the groups. I'm going to see myself again, but please share out as I'm sharing out. But I wanted to leave you guys with that so that you can ponder that for a second. And once you forgive yourself and you move on and you understand, you forgive yourself for all the lifetimes that you had, you forgive yourself for your past, you forgive yourself for all the mistakes, and you forgive yourself for making a mistake, and you forgive yourself for learning, for healing, for integrating new things within your being. And once you forgive yourself, you will find a clarity that comes over you. You will start to breathe, and you will start to emulate what Spirit wants to emulate from you, and you will start illuminating and shedding light on things. And you will be a beacon of light for people. You will be an outlet for people. You will be a voice for the voiceless. And you will be a warrior of the Most High God. You will be God in human form. And please share as I'm sharing out. But I wanted to talk about self-forgiveness. We can all love ourselves. We can all love our confidence. But we can't be overly confident. We can't just be wanting to run away from our inner work. We can't run away from our inner work. We can act overly confident in our ego, because the self-defeatism, the talking yourself out of things, the false narratives that you assume and believe yourself to be are your ego being displayed. And I'm saying this for myself because I've gotten an air after I went live and I was all over the place and I was jittery and I was filled with energy. But I got an air about myself and I spoke out of turn, and guess what? There's a slap on the wrist. And I keep talking about the slaps on the wrist because they have been talking to me directly. About holding myself accountable for my growth, holding myself accountable for my inner work, holding myself accountable for the man that I'm supposed to be, and start leveling up. And a lot of times you will shed a lot of tears. You will shed a lot of tears, but they're not tears of sadness. They're not tears of feeling sorry for yourself. They're not tears of you just staying and resonating within that lower vibration, but there are tears that are going to level you up. The spiritual journey is blood, sweat, and tears. But once you get past that, once you really breach that gap, once you kind of stop playing in the parameters of self-sabotage, self-defeatism, self-judgment, because it's not very graceful to judge yourself. And MorningStar sent something really awesome because we were watching the show Loki about the god of mischief, about, you know, the agent trying to straighten him out, or maybe he's being misled, or maybe they're both being misled. But she said that most people, I think, suffer because they don't know their profound purpose in this life. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I just wanted to be okay. But I do believe that we don't tap into our creative energies, and that's why we get kind of upset in life. Because there was a lot of creativity that I was suppressing. I didn't think I was smart. I didn't think I was worthy of winning. I didn't think I was worthy of this life. I felt like I failed at like 21. I felt like I was going to stay at this job. I was going to stay the same. I was going to have the same friends. I was always going to let things dictate my life. Excuses dictate my life. My family dictate my life. But then someone came into my life and said to me that I was not that said failure, that I should not judge myself, but that you should love your life, you should love yourself, you should put blessings on your life, and you need to forgive yourself for the way that you used to be, because you were the imposter self. And as you were the imposter self, you forgive yourself and let yourself off the hook and move on, because sometimes we stay in the revolving door of shadow work. We stay in the revolving door of shadow work, and we stay there and we stay there and we beat ourselves up and we can't forgive ourselves. And then what? We're just going to keep feeling sorry for ourselves. We're going to keep defeating ourselves. And they want you to stop feeling sorry for yourself, but accept that they have grace on your life and they're allowing you to do what you want to do and allowing you to do what is needed for you. But just because you haven't had the latest update, being the laptop, being the iPhone, just because you don't have iOS 14.5 doesn't mean that you can't do something at iOS 13.5. Work in the parameters of that power. Work in the parameters of that updated version of yourself, and just live, breathe spirit, wait, and ask, believe, and receive. And when you ask and believe and you are receiving, you truly are becoming a beacon of light, becoming a sense of joy, becoming a person that is leading by example. And as you are leading by example, you will show others that judgment of self is a complete and utter waste of time. That judgment of self is actually you giving into the false self, giving your power away, giving your joy to somebody, to something, to some concept. And as you are doing that, you are stripping away your wings. You are a child, you are a warrior, and you can withstand the storm. You can reach a sense of salvation. You can withstand whatever is placed on your path, because the angels, the intergalactic council, your fairies would not put something in your way that you can't handle. And it's just one step in the right direction. It's a couple steps to get from a crawl, to get to a walk, to get to the sprint, and carry the baton to the next person. So what I want you guys to understand is that when you are feeling bad about yourself, when you're feeling bad, having a moment of weakness, it's actually probably a moment where you're having an intensive breakthrough. And you're going to be shattering timelines. And you're going to be shedding more layers of the skin that you don't need. You're shedding more layers of things that are holding you back, that are keeping you stuck, that are not making you step into your power, step into your authority, step into you being the commander, being the intuitive investigator. Because that's what we are. When we're working on ourselves, when we're doing our inner work, when we're trying to understand the big picture here, we are the intuitive investigator of love, light, and generosity. So, when we are investigative, when we are searching within our own being, when we are trying to dismantle the false self, the imposter self, Satan wearing a disguise, because Satan wears many disguises. And I do believe that a lot of times when we give into that self-sabotage, like I did, I was negative about myself. I said I couldn't do things. I was going to let people dictate my life. And then I had someone showed me that I was worthy, that I was important, that I had a destiny, that I had a path, that I had a journey, that I had to find this profound self-love. And what is before self-love? Because sometimes I say things, and there's some things that go before it. What is before self-love? It is self-forgiveness. It is forgiveness of self. Forgiving everything that you misunderstood. Forgive your anger. Forgive your assumptions. Forgive that you handled a situation badly. But I remember Joel Osteen said something this morning, and I thought it was very beautiful, and I don't want to take credit for saying things and saying that I said that. I want to reference Joel Osteen, because he said that a lot of people are like garbage trucks. And sometimes we accumulate our own junk and other people's junk, our family's junk, our friends' junk, everybody's junk from our whole day. And then sometimes we have to find some place to dump it. And that's what we're doing in this incarnation. But it's not our fault, because we went through the veil of amnesia and we forget. And then we're placed on the path of self-remembrance to find out what our purposeful purpose is on this planet. What is the fire that's going to ignite us, to allow us to change, allow us to transform, allow us to transcend the knowledge that we accumulate in this lifetime, and be able to install it and make people the updated, revamped version of themselves? But how can we love ourselves when we are unwilling to forgive ourselves? How are we willing to love ourselves when we're not willing to forgive thyself, understand thyself, love thyself, bless thyself? But don't get an air about this and think that you just need to love yourself and that you don't need to bless others. Because a lot of the times in the beginning of the spiritual journey, it is a lot for yourself, because there's things that you have to heal, there's things that you have to learn, there's reflections that you have to face, there's things that you have to own up to. And I'm saying this from my own experience, because trust me, it wasn't very easy for me to get to where I am right now. And it took a lot of times going live to perfect it, to try to make sense of it, to try to make sense of who I am, to try to make sense of the things I was afraid to look at. Because we all have things that we're afraid to look at. We do have like metaphorical skeletons in our closet. And it's not skeletons that are in our closet necessarily, but it's things that we're afraid to look at, and sometimes it's things that we are not willing to look at that said time. So the path of self-forgiveness is the path of self-love, and then it's self-realization. You have this realization that you have this self-love and that you have this self-forgiveness and that everything is in your heart. And if everything is in your heart, you can help people start being self-actualized. And then they act on their empowerment, and then they're empowered when they're acting on the things, and they feel this ecstasy, they feel this joy, they feel this inspiration come over them, and then they become self-empowered. It all stems from the self. But what is the true self? What is the oracle of love, light, and wisdom? It is God in human form, and God in human form does not need to beat itself up anymore, and you need to let yourself off the hook. And if you can't accomplish everything that you can accomplish in this moment, don't beat yourself up. Accomplish a small menial task, like a small task. If it's just taking out the trash, you can accomplish that. That's an accomplishment. We are sometimes afraid to give ourselves compliments, and we're afraid to give ourselves some sense of accomplishments in life. I do believe that. Like we haven't done enough. Well, did you have kids? Then great. If you had kids, you did the best that you could at that specific point in time. You tried to teach them, you tried to show them a way. Maybe you, you know, went a little too overboard, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't make you the bad guy. You did the best you can with the tools that you had at that specific point in time, and you shouldn't beat yourself up because it's not easy raising kids. I don't have kids, but I'm going to have people who are my students, who are my spiritual babies. That's what I call them. And I'm going to have to instill something within them. And am I going to make mistakes? Maybe I'm going to go a little too far. Yes, but we all make mistakes. But it's okay to make a mistake because making a mistake is a gateway to learning. And when you learn more, when you have little slaps on the wrist, when they're instructing you and telling you what you need to do and what you need to incorporate and how you have to have some sort of a finesse with everything that you're doing. And I'm trying to do this. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not perfect in all aspects yet. And we never really are perfect in all aspects. We're not, because if we do say that we're perfect and that we're done learning and that we're done integrating and that we're done doing this, we're going to put a ceiling on ourselves and we're not going to go higher and higher and higher. I mean, I was listening to Joel Osteen and he made me cry. But it wasn't tears of feeling sorry for myself. It was tears to level me up, to help me clear some more stuff. You know, I was listening to a song, Little Wonders by Rob Thomas. It made me tear up because they told me to listen to those songs so that maybe I can get some more stuff out. But we always pertain kindness with weakness. We always pertain crying for being weak with our emotions. And that's actually not. When you are vulnerable, when you are tender, when you use the divine feminine for how it is supposed to be used, it's a very beautiful thing and it's a very powerful thing. Because if we were overly masculine, if we were overly authoritarian, if we were overly commanding, we wouldn't get what we needed to get across very well. We would look like a very heinous and kind of mean person, and we wouldn't get the message across. But there's a time and a place for everything. There's a specific time. Divine timing is a real thing. There's a time and a place for everything. There's a time to be sweet, there's a time to be tender, and then there's a time to be authoritative and to command. But I think a lot of the times we want to beat ourselves up. We put unrealistic expectations on ourselves, and we feel like that Rome is going to be built in a day. So forgive yourself and be free. Be free of the past. Be free of your 3D self. Be free of all the lifetimes. Be free of lust, ego, whatever it may be. It's not just one thing. It's all things. It's the way that we look at life on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment basis. It's how we perceive ourselves, and how, if you really want to wear be a knight in shining armor, what is wrong with that? If you want to dress like in the Victorian era and that speaks to your spirit, if you want to look like an Egyptian goddess, if you want to wear like a suit from the 1920s and that speaks to you, why is that a funny thing to some people? Why is that a funny thing to some people? But we act like we have to act like the way that society wants us to act like. And that's not right either. That's not right at all. And when we awaken, we're acting in our true nature. We're acting from our true joy. We're acting from our true passion. We're acting from the standpoint of being an infinite creation, from being a God. But we don't take credit for being that God. We're being an example for people to forgive themselves, to love themselves, to act on their creativity, to act on their joy, to act on the tenderness of their heart. And I told God before I went on here that I wanted the divine feminine to roll through me because that is my signature as a male. And most healers are very sensitive. Most healers are very empathic. And we need sensitive beings. We need compassionate people. We need sweet and tender people. But was I always like that when I first started the spiritual journey? No, and MorningStar can tell you there's a lot of alpha maleness that I had to get rid of. There was a lot of alpha male, and that's toxic masculinity. And I'm sorry, but that's a real thing, is toxic masculinity. To be fully in the masculine is fully in the ego, but you can't be fully feminine either. There's got to be a balance. You got to know when to be masculine and you got to know when to be feminine, because it can't go both ways. It just cannot, because then you're gonna not deliver a message correctly. You're not going to teach someone correctly. You're not going to teach. The message is not going to land like you want it to land. And there has to be a lot of care and there has to be a lot of sincerity with the way that you're teaching, with the way that you're directing the message, with the way that you're speaking, and you have to speak the truth. Because when you don't speak truth in most things, it will come back to bite you. Because then they'll be like, well, if you're true about this on a live feed, then why aren't you true right here? And I've had to get rid of a lot of things like that, and I'm trying to encompass the highest form within all things, and it's hard. Assumptions, anger, lack of patience. The path of meditation will teach you a lot of patience. It will teach you a lot of grace. It will teach you a lot of things that you need to integrate within your soul to be a perfected human being. And it's like, what is perfection? What does your perfection look like? It doesn't have to look like what I'm doing. Maybe your 9 to 5 job is your perfection, is your creation. Maybe doing art for you is your creation. Maybe going on trips is your creation. But whatever your joy is, it's not too late to tap into it. It's not too late to chase it, to run with it, to get on that horse and really hit it on both sides and be like the cowboy in the old West and just ride out into the sunset. It's not too late to do that, but sometimes we feel like that it is too late to do that. But it's not too late. And once you recognize that it's never too late to start a new day, to be resurrected, to reincarnate and have a rebirth of some sort, a transformation, a change within your innermost being, and just snap into it and tap into that. And sometimes I go out here and go live and there's a lot of commotion going on and there's a lot of things going on, and I kind of have an appreciation for that, because we all sometimes are living a very chaotic, loud life, and we're living a life that's kind of all over the board, and there's a lot of things going on, there's a lot of things that aren't right. And then when we awaken, we try to, and it's not a matter of right or wrong, but the purification sort of comes in. The purification sort of just unfolds and unravels, and it bedazzles you. And I know that's kind of, I've never said that before ever on a live feed, but um, let it make you giddy. Let it make you feel loved. Because when you're truly loved by God, in whatever you're doing, maybe it's just being a good parent, maybe it's just being a good coworker, maybe it's being a good friend, maybe it's just, you know, giving into your singing ability. I don't know. But allow yourself to accomplish something. Allow yourself to be loved. Allow yourself to let yourself off the hook and forgive yourself, and just be free in all things. And let it be a freeing experience for you. Let it be freeing. Let yourself be free for the first time. Maybe it's for the first time. Maybe it's for the second time. Maybe it's for the third time. But I do believe we get second chances in life, and third and fourth chances. It doesn't matter how many times you do something wrong. You can always try again. No matter how many times you judge yourself, you can always forgive yourself again. And that's what the beautiful thing is about the path of meditation. It allows you to have patience. It allows you to forgive yourself. It allows you to understand that sometimes maybe you made a mistake on your live feed. Maybe you did something wrong. Maybe you spoke out of turn. Maybe it's okay. But let yourself off the hook and just accept that you are loved and that you are sacred and that you will find salvation. And that I do believe that we all are redeemed in a sense. And just let Source give you a metaphysical baptism today. Let you be showered by the aqua river flow of God's source energy, and let you be cleansed from all darkness. So cleanse yourself and have a metaphysical baptism today, and forgive yourself and let yourself sort of off the hook. Because forgiveness of self feels really, really good, and it makes you feel very, very loved. And the only way, I do believe, for self-love and confidence and empowerment, all before that, you've got to forgive yourself. So, but I want to get into some healing. I'm going to be doing Stupid Mudra Energy. This is White Wolf. Please share out to all the groups. Feel free to donate as well. Making an in-depth appointment with me and Morningstar, our Instagram page, I_M_movement, all lowercase. Go to bitchute, Morningstar at I Am Movement, TikTok, Morningstar at I Am Movement, and like the I Am Movement page. You will not regret it. You are going to get a master intuitive herself, and you're going to have a divine healer. But I don't take credit for the healing. I am only as powerful as God's source energy allows me to be what I am and what I say that I am, and that they allow me to have the power within this vessel to show you that you can be healed, because I am just the example. Okay, I'm going to get my phone off my lap because I don't want it to drop. But like, just get in a calm space. I'm going to be doing light languages as well. Feel free to share out. This is White Wolf. Shiti pamadaya ati himma hoya ashikema kaya ati himma hoya ati himma haya aya shaya daya shiti aina oya. Shiti pamo kaya shita daya ati himma aya oti kena goya. Siti pama daya ati himma haya hoshe himma haya iti kema kaya. Shiti pamo daya ishi pame daya ati himma hoya ushipema aya. Shipi pama daya ho. I'm going to clap a few times to raise the vibration and to settle my spirit down. Take a few deep breaths. I have enjoyed the time that we spent here today together, and the collaboration and the healing and the ascension and the evolution of consciousness itself within the human being, tapping in to your innermost being. But when I snap my fingers, you will come back to, you will become God in human form, you will be the oracle of love, light, and wisdom. And you will become the example of Source. You will forgive yourself. You will let go of any judgment you have of yourself, anything that is holding you back, limiting beliefs, false narratives, self-sabotage, self-defeating, doubting. An unworthy complex that is only primarily the 3D. It is not the 12th dimensional being that you are. Take another deep breath. And release just a little more and relax. Thank you all for watching this broadcast today. Go to our Instagram page, I_M_movement, all lowercase. Go to TikTok, MorningStar at I Am Movement, bitchute, MorningStar at I Am Movement. And like the I Am movement, make an appointment with me and MorningStar. She's a master intuitive. I am a healer. We would love to help you embody more of your creative side, your love, forgiveness, grace, change, transformation. And I hope that you enjoyed the broadcast. I hope that you all rewatch it, because sometimes you may get something. Maybe sometimes you misunderstood me. Maybe I came off a certain way. And sometimes when we rewatch something, we kind of get the gist of what we were laying down. But all of you have a blessed and wonderful day. And please share out to all the groups and feel free to donate. This is White Wolf. And I hope that you all have a blessed day.